Hey, what's up, everyone? It is John, and let's talk today about lead aprons, right? It's a hot topic. Everybody wants to know, hey, do I need to wear a lead apron? Do my patients need to wear a lead apron? Well, here's the thing about lead aprons. First of all, got to make sure you're storing them correctly. That's a big thing that we always see is that people are in these videos are like folding them up. If you do still have to use a lead apron, then of course you want to make sure that it is working effectively. You want to make sure that you are inspecting it, not folding it, making sure there's no cracks. We want to keep that lead fresh. Now, let's get to that other part. I see a lot of misinformation on social media about the lead apron. So here's the thing. Yes, the ADA did recommend that you don't have to wear a lead apron, but the ADA is not a governing body. They just make suggestions. So that's something to keep in mind whenever you're irresponsibly just shooting out information on social media. At the end of the day, it is still up to your state's dental board on what we have to do within our state. And that's all over the place, honestly, because some states require the patient to wear it. Some states are requiring the operator to wear it if you are, in fact, using a handheld x-ray unit. One thing that's very irresponsible to just say, well, x-rays have come a long way and, technology and radiation is so minimal. Something you have to keep in mind is a lot of offices are still using wall units, and approximately 13% of offices are still using traditional film. So that requires more radiation to penetrate those traditional films because they're still using speeds that have to be ran through developer and fixer. Now, let's say you're one of these people. Well, that doesn't make any sense because the ADA said that more radiation is being trapped under the apron. Yeah, in some cases that could be, but I have sat in on inspections on the x-ray techniques and the qualifications. And I got to tell you that everybody's room is different. And here in Pennsylvania, some dentists are even operating out of their house, out of their basement, out of a 2-story house. And those walls are not lead lined. So of course we talk about radiation safety and staying, within or outside of 6 feet of the distance from the direction of radiation. So there's a lot of things you have to consider. But when I was on and taking place in those inspections, the rooms are never the same. So it's very hard for you to argue and say, well, radiation's being trapped under the apron. That may or may not be the case. You don't know. You would physically have to have a radiation inspection of every room that you're working out of. One of the rooms I was in, the radiation was leaking out of the doorknob to the point where we had to put lead line tape around the doorknob to secure no radiation was leaking through. Had we not had that inspection, who would have known that? So, just a couple things to keep in mind. Make sure if you are doing videos that you responsibly say what state you're from and check up on that state. I see people in offices and right away they're like, you don't need that. State dependent. So, let's keep this in mind. Let's make sure that we are responsibly spreading information because unfortunately someone sees your video and they just take that to heart, and that's not the case. Every state's different. So make sure you're doing, you're investigating and making sure that your office is staying up to date. I know a lot of people say, our state doesn't even require it, but I get tired of arguing with patients. Completely understandable, But the thing is, patient education goes a long way. And I see people say, oh, well, John, I have to argue with patients all the time and nobody listens to that. I've never had a problem. I've never had this problem. Patients come in, of course they don't want x-rays, but I take the time to educate them. And of course I have one of those graphs up. I'll see if I can find one and drop it at the end of the video. It shows, of course everybody knows about the banana, the flights, whatever it is. It breaks down what those equate to for x-rays. And that goes a long way in your patient education. So I hope this helps. with what's going on in the world of radiation and dental radiography. And certainly feel free to drop a comment. If you have questions or maybe you're still not you're having a hard time believing it. But at the end of the day, like I said, ADA is not a governing body. They're making suggestions for us, so something to keep in mind. And if you find this video helpful, great. Please feel free to share it. And if you're one of these people like, oh, John, you don't know what we're talking about, well, hey, I apologize. I'm just trying to spread the information for what I see. So hope everyone has a great day. And if you need help, your dental assistant needs some help with topics or discussion, feel free to message us. Or, of course, you can email us at cornerstonedainstructors@gmail.com. And please feel free to look at our catalog. We have a lot of training and education videos on our YouTube channel, Cornerstone Dental Assistant Academy, as well as at our podcast at Dental Assistant Nerds Podcast.